When your mother rises in a hushed Manhattan courtroom and calls the proceedings a public lynching, every eye swivels to the witness box. Janice Combs is famous in her own right for championing her son's meteoric rise from Harlem hustler to global mogul. Now with Sean Diddy Combs shackled by federal x-trafficking and racketeering charges, she's rolling the dice on one last all-or-nothing defense. But as the cameras flash, the question lingers in the air like thick cigar smoke. Did the trail of rumors, raids, and wrecked lives finally catch up with hip-hop's perennial kingmaker? Or is the government staging history's loudest takedown of an industry titan? Keep watching, because each witness, each seized hard drive, each whispered freak off moves us closer to an answer. Day 4 of testimony crackles with tension. Janice Combs, dressed in dove gray silk, grips her prayer beads and addresses jurors who've already seen clips of her son allegedly kicking his then-girlfriend down a hallway. "This is a witch hunt," she insists, voice quivering, yet unmistakably forceful, before likening the trial to a public lynching of my son and blaming lies motivated by money. People.com. The gallery murmurs. Judge Wilcox pounds the gavel. Prosecutors object, but the image sticks, a grieving mother against a machinery of accusation. She recounts Sean's childhood. Mixtapes sold from car trunks, studio nights fueled by ambition, not narcotics. Defense lawyers lean in, eager to let her humanity soften jurors pummeled by 4 days of graphic detail. Yet every tender anecdote must eventually reckon with the elephant in the room. Why is a billionaire entrepreneur staring down mandatory minimum decades in federal lockup? The judge reminds everyone to stick to facts, but Janice's plea hovers overhead like incense. "My son might have sinned," she concedes, "but he never trafficked souls." The moment she steps down, whispers rise. Were her words heartfelt or high-stakes strategy? And if strategy, will it survive the avalanche of evidence that follows? But that wasn't the whole story. Rewind to Club New York, 1999. A gun goes off, and the Combs mythology earns its first criminal scar. Fast forward to November 2023, when ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura files a surprise civil suit alleging years of coercion and violence, later settled for roughly $20 million. BBC. Instead of fading, the headlines multiply. Homeland Security agents raid Diddy's Holmby Hills and Miami mansions on March 25, 2024, seizing hard drives, 11 unregistered weapons, and pallets of luxury brand baby oil earmarked, prosecutors claim, for drug-laced marathon freak-offs. By September 16, 2024, federal marshals arrest Combs at Manhattan's Park Hyatt. A grand jury indictment follows, stacking RICO, S+X trafficking, and forced labor counts that span 17 years. Accusers pour in, backup dancers, aspiring rappers, even former bodyguards, each painting the same portrait: a charismatic maestro who weaponized wealth, fear, and cameras to curate taboo soirees and control reputations. Every raid, every leaked video, every NDA now feels like another domino in a line set decades ago. And the agents claim the most damning clues came not from victim stories, but from the terabytes of footage Diddy allegedly kept for leverage. What exactly was on those drives? Stay tuned. Special Agent Yasin Binda testifies that agents found cataloged video folders labeled MGM, an internal slang for money girls' madness. On-screen, jurors view muted clips, mirrored walls, neon rope lights, guests snorting MDMA, while $100 bills flutter like confetti. One agent describes 1,000-plus bottles of baby oil stacked floor to ceiling beside vials of ketamine. Prosecutors explain the system. Contestants, often aspiring artists, were promised studio time but first had to entertain elite guests. Doors locked, phones confiscated, cameras always rolling. Victims say the footage later resurfaced as blackmail if they tried to leave bad boy records or speak out. Defense lawyer Marina Cho counters that every attendee was an adult who signed consent forms. But the government produces 3 such waivers, allegedly pre-signed and backdated by Combs' management team. The courtroom exhales a collective gasp, but one name appears more than any other in the metadata: Cassie Ventura. And what she says next will shock everyone. 8 months pregnant, Ventura steps to the stand in a loose navy dress, refusing special seating. She recounts meeting Combs at 19, then describes an 11-year spiral of lavish trips, pills disguised as vitamins, and nights when she was loaned to paid male companions, while cameras whirred. Her voice cracks only when she recalls a 2018 night in Miami. He smothered me with a pillow because I tried to run. Defense tries a different tack. Wasn't she given seven-figure gifts? Didn't she accept the $20 million settlement? Ventura's reply is instant. I'd hand every penny back if it erased the freak-offs. Prosecutors let that sentence marinate. Then they wheel in a monitor, the 2016 hotel elevator footage, where Combs appears to punch Ventura, drag her by the hair, kick her twice. Gasps echo. A juror covers his mouth. Even Janice looks away. Ventura's 4-day testimony leaves a crater. Yet she isn't the only voice ready to corroborate. Former Danity Kane singer Dawn Richards strides in with her own scars. She recounts a kitchen skillet incident, an alleged 2012 clash where a cast iron pan whizzed past her ear after she questioned studio budgets. Richards' timeline dovetails with security guard Israel Flores, who admits he signed hush agreements after witnessing similar outbursts. Next comes Daniel Phillip, a self-described paid participant who attended 6 freak-offs. Phillip testifies that Combs kept a ledger, guest names, drug dosages, the times lights switched from red to black, the moment cameras engaged. The jury stares stone-faced as Phillip mimics Diddy's alleged rallying cry, "Turn the oil up!" By now, the defense leans heavily on family to humanize their client. But family has its own chapter. 6 of Combs' 7 children release a joint statement mid-trial proclaiming unconditional support. Our father is imperfect, but not a trafficker. In court, Janice clutches that printed statement like a shield. She sheds tears as prosecutors flash WhatsApp messages allegedly showing Combs instructing an employee to buy Plan B for the girls after a 2021 Bahamas yacht party. The defense pivots. Isn't loving your family proof he isn't a monster? Prosecutor Alana Ruiz fires back. Love doesn't erase criminal enterprise. The rhetorical skirmish leaves jurors pondering whether a nurturing father can coexist with the puppet master described by witnesses. One thing is certain, an empire built on image is now bleeding credibility and cash. But a collapsing fortune can speak louder than any witness. Within weeks of the indictment, Ciroc freezes marketing deals. Sean John's licensing partners hit pause. Revolt TV issues a press release distancing its board from operational decisions. Combs quietly lists his Holmby Hills estate for $61.5 million, the same mansion federal agents stormed in March. Newsweek analysts estimate his net worth plunged by half in 6 months, drained by legal retainers rumored at $700K per week. Law professor Rena Schultz reminds cable pundits, RICO is built to bankrupt before it convicts. If jurors find him guilty of a single x-trafficking count, sentencing guidelines start at 25 years, stackable for each victim. Billion-dollar catalogs crumble fast when licensing boards smell liability. The house Diddy built is essentially on fire, and the flames may crawl all the way into hip-hop's boardrooms. But the biggest twist still looms. Upcoming witnesses promise fresh shockwaves. Former bodyguard Marcus Wolf Riggs, Homeland Security cyber analyst Yasin Binda, who decrypted terabytes of video, and an anonymous male escort granted immunity. Judge Wilcox signals the trial could stretch into July. If convicted on the top RICO charge, Combs faces life. If acquitted, 63 civil suits remain queued like dominoes. Streaming giants already debate whether to demote his catalog, while brand consultants whisper that Bad Boy Records may rebrand or dissolve entirely within a year. So we're left with the core riddle. Is this long-delayed justice for dozens of damaged lives, or the most spectacular character assassination in music history? Drop your verdict in the comments, because whether you shout "Free Diddy" or "Lock 'em up," one truth is undeniable. The era of untouchable moguls is disappearing under the cold glare of courtroom lights, and the next gavel swing could rewrite hip-hop forever.